Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of rotationally indexing rapid onset lead poisoning devices, powder actuated rapid onset lead poisoning devices. I'm your host, Mitch. Today, I want to talk about, yes, we've had an addition to our family. Yes, he is adorable. I've got my Papa Bear mug here. Just take a little sip on the bench. Being that we're getting our sleep rotations a little bit more organized, we got some fantastic second wind coffee. This stuff, full leaded, aviation grade, really fantastic beans. Thank you. Person sent this over, and for me to check out as a Christmas gift and a little fuel with the new baby, and I really appreciate it. It's been awesome. Good coffee. Today, we have got a treat. Two fantastic pieces of American ingenuity, American history here. Arguably two of the best working man's guns, two of the best stainless steel revolvers ever made. We've got a 2020 Colt Python and actually a vintage 1989, 1990s Smith & Wesson 686, highly customized. This is bone stock. We're going to take a look inside of these two today, and we're going to see a little bit more of why the Colt product has always got this sort of like mystified nuance to it, where it always seems like, the Smith & Wesson is always like the work, a gun that's made for work, a gun that's made to get put in a holster and carried around every day and work when you need it. And the Colt is always about passion and just this, like I said, the sort of mystery that surrounds these guys, and why some of these guns are just so highly regarded. So a little bit of background before we go tearing into these things, and we'll do a quick safety check here. Got six holes in the cylinder of the Python, and we got 6 holes in the cylinder of the 686, so we are clear and good to go. So the Python originally started in the 50s, right after 357 Magnum. Right when 357 Magnum really came out, started becoming a really big deal. This is a 357 Magnum cartridge down here. So we've got a piece of brass. It's a necked. It's not a neck cartridge. It's a rimmed cartridge. There's a little rim here on the bottom. It's a pretty long case. Essentially has a very large projectile. Its average projectile is 158 grains. This is a round nose flat point, and they travel usually about 1,500, 1,600 feet per second with regular, good stout 357 Magnum load to be doing that. So, but what the whole deal was is that back in the day when Colt made the Python, they were making it as kind of a service gun was sort of in mind, and it was really meant to be the showpiece, a bullseye gun. A lot of guys ended up using these at bullseye competition. Now, I can hear people screaming already, that's not an original, that's a copy, blah, 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 blah. This is a 2020 Colt Python. Colt stopped making these. 2005 was when the last Python left the factory floor. And in 2020, they reintroduced the Python. So this is a Colt Python. This is a 2020 Colt Python, essentially we'll call it a Gen 2, maybe, as we'd like to refer to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the side plates off of these, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on the inside and what makes these two revolvers tick. So let's speed up the video and get started. Okay, now we've got these the two side plates off of these things, and we've got the camera way down in here, and I just want to show you guys just how absolutely different these two revolvers are. Now keep in mind, they're both about the same size. We have a very similar frame size. This is an L frame Smith & Wesson. This is a Python frame Smith & Wesson, medium frame revolvers. And they're both 6 rounds of .357. So let's take a look at the inside. We'll take the Smith first. We're all pretty well acquainted with this Smith & Wesson revolver. I want to bring this in, and I want to really sharpen up this focus here. So let's just take a look. Now, this gun's got a lot of miles on it, but we can see here, like, here's our hand, right? We can see some grind marks here on the hand, right? And in the back, sort of these shadows here, these circular. This has a lot to do with the feed rate and the polish, the finish that Smith & Wesson puts onto these parts in the middle of the assembly process. Now this is a forged frame. This whole frame is just made out of one piece of steel, essentially, and this barrel is twist threaded on. There are threads in here, and this is a big bolt, right? And this is a nut. So but with this, we can see that this is actually kind of rough, right? We can see some stuff in here that's like, okay, now the Smith & Wesson product at the time cost a bit less than the Colt product at the time, and we're about to find out why. Okay, so Smith & Wesson is currently selling these for the better part of $1,000, and these old ones are going for a lot more money. These are all forged internal parts. These are all made out of one chunk of steel as well. Let's switch over to the Colt here. Talk to you a little bit more about what's going on here. So here, what we can see is that this hammer has got a borderline mirror polish on it. This gun's got a lot of ammo through it too. It's not a low mileage gun. It's probably close to 1,000 rounds through this thing. It's in really good shape, but we have some metal. We could see a mold line here, right? So we do have some metal injected molded parts, but what we've got here is our return spring. Right over here is our return spring. This is a return spring style, trigger return spring style in the Smith & Wesson. Look at this. Look at the way this goes. This uses the mainspring. It uses the other half of the mainspring in a hinge pin style, and it pushes this trigger back with this long arm that sits down in here. I mean, how fascinating is that? These guys have come up with this way to do it, which uses the other side of the mainspring to really, and with all of this leverage, they're able to get a lower impulse, right? So this feels lighter with having the same travel time. It's really pretty genius. So this is just kind of cool. This is such a deep rabbit hole, and I'm trying to figure out, as I'm talking here, I'm trying to keep it so that we're sort of just like skimming over the surface, and we're talking about just some basic concepts of machining here. But these things, we can see that this gun, its price point is going to match this kind of finish quality on the inside. That price point is going to match. That's just oil. That price point is going to match this finish quality on the inside. We're going to see that at the counter when we go to actually pay for it. But I mean, what a gem! An absolute gem. I feel as though that the new Python, there's quite a bit of debate here because is the new Python as good or better than the old Python, and a lot of people sort of hang around the old ones a bit. That's a rabbit hole for a whole nother video. We could go on for days about that and talk about that whole in-depth bit of that debate. But yeah, the outreach has been really kind. You guys have been so kind. I mean, I just started this new adventure. I mean, people just sending stuff, getting stuff in the mail, and and just people reaching out to me to tell me that they're really enjoying themselves or that they're learning something from these. I really appreciate it. It's been really cool, and everybody got a lot of support on our new addition to our family. Got a newborn baby upstairs, so the videos might be a little sporadic here for a little while because we're trying to catch our breath with that. But I really wanted to show you guys I wanted to sort of go back into a little bit of mechanical function here, and then just talk about manufacturing process, and how sort of this is a bit more of a racehorse, as this is a bit more of a working gun. And just these two. Now, the pythons did get carried by law enforcement. Some police departments did get four. I don't know how many police departments used a 4-inch python, or a 6-inch python rather. But I know that a lot of 4-inch blued guns did get deployed in like California, some in Texas, something like that. But the bulk of law enforcement back in the day were using 686s, 681s, which is a fixed sight version. Anyway, a lot of different guns got used. Not a whole lot of pythons saw a lot of service. These were used by a lot of bullseye shooters. But if you like the video, and thank you for all the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.